been too long. As a matter of fact, I think it's been like 2 months since I've been on here with the book review. It's book review time. Okay, don't get me started on y'all, but I'm so excited. I've been doing tons of reading. I just feel like I've had a lot of growth this summer. Anyway, but first, y'all already know. Have you been checking out carty-williams.com? I've been traveling, so I'm trying to put a little travel blog stuff on there. Check out my Tulum, Mexico review. I just been writing. So a little bit of everything. Go on over there and check it out and make sure you come back here, okay? I'm talking about 3 books today. Why I do this? I got 3 books. 3 books. 3 books today, and one of them was for my book review. So I'm going to start with, I don't know if you guys have heard of Queenie by Carty-Williams. This one. So it's always the question of, did you like the book? And it wasn't that I didn't like the book. It just was a little, I feel like I've been reading books, I think they're like really like great, kind of light, and you know, Black author, her first book, I'm totally here for that. But it turned out to be a little bit darker than I was expecting. So Queenie is about a young woman a young Black woman living in the UK, and she's 26 years old. So that right there tells you there's a lot I experienced at 26. There's a lot of dumb things I did, and we kind of basically get to see Queenie's raw dumb decisions. And the thing is with the book, and also I'm going to do spoiler alerts, so if you're like, I want to read the book and I don't want to know what happened, boo, either skip ahead or talk to me next time, because I'm going to give a little bit of spoilers. But Queenie had some big issues. First of all, also I love the cover. Love the cover. But Queenie had some issues with, in her past, from her mom and the male figures in her family, the Black male figures. That's kind of key for this book. And I'm thinking, gosh, I know so many women like that who have faced these type of issues. And unfortunately, she acts it out in her sex life. But so dangerous. As I was reading the book, I was like, wait a minute. Did she do that? Did she have a condom? So, I can kind of tell you a little bit about this book, and it does get graphic. And my girlfriend warned me about it ahead of time, because honestly, I kind of skip ahead, that kind of stuff. When you're not having sex and a book goes into detail about it, you ain't really about that life. So, but it was so inappropriate that it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is turning me on. If anything, I was just like, oh my. But she ends up getting therapy and getting some help. But as you're reading the book, I was just like, I never really get to a true climax. I was kind of like, wait, so when is it going to, like, when are we going to see a complete turn? So I do recommend reading it, because I think it's great, for one, to support, and then for two, you're probably gonna be like, gosh, Queenie is so many women. Like, I don't think she's just one woman, and everybody, as you're reading it, you're gonna have a friend that pops into your head that's like, oh yeah, she's totally a Queenie, and probably has no idea, just like Queenie didn't. It also talks about Black mental health, which I really, really appreciate. I think that's a subject that we need to talk about a lot more. So I do think it's worth the read. Would I read it again? Probably not. Not without for research purposes, but I think it's not meant for, if you're younger than, if you're younger than 25, I don't recommend it. So I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but it is a good book. It's just, there's some challenges there. Okay, on to Jennifer Weiner's Mrs. Everything. So this, I love, y'all, I got stuff all on the cover. Anyway, I love Jennifer Weiner. I love her. I think she's, for one, she's a Jewish woman. She's plus size, and she makes sure to incorporate, she makes sure that she incorporates that somehow into her book. Like, not every woman is like, especially when you read white authors, sometimes it feels like every woman is like blonde and like wispy or red hair, and it's like, I can't really connect to that. So I do appreciate that she has different type of women in her book. And she hits on some pretty heavy issues. It's about 2 women, 2 sisters, that growing up, their father dies suddenly, and then they're left with their mom. And this is also in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So very, very different time for women, very different time for ethnicities, and it's a Jewish family. But it's interesting because she gives a Jewish perspective around like racism. And I would say racism mostly towards Black people. And during that time, and you know, that's like civil rights, like is so, like it was kind of like a history lesson at the same time. But then also one of the sisters is a lesbian. And I've never read about a lesbian woman who decides to marry a man and what that must have been like for her. It just, to me, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit, but I did think it was a good read. It was sad, honestly. And also it really talks about like women's rights and how far we've come and how far we still have yet to go. It's very different for her, I thought, as far as just because it wasn't as light as she normally writes. And like one sister goes through weight issues. She was molested. Like, again, there's a lot packed into these pages. So I felt like it was worth the read. And my last one. Y'all know I love me some Jodi Picoult, A Spark of Light. First of all, shout out to my sister. She sent me this book. I had bought it from Half Price Bookstore like I normally do, or Amazon, but I left it on a plane months ago, and my sister was so sweet. We're just catching up and talking, and I tell her that I left it, and she sends this to me. So sweet. But A Spark of Light, I feel like it's so relevant right now. So relevant because it talks about abortion. Basically, to me, it was written in a very different way for her because she actually tells you what happens in the very beginning of the story, and then you backtrack. So it's kind of choppy. So some people was like, I couldn't get into it, but I highly recommend, like, if you start reading it, stick with it because even though the choppiness, it doesn't stay. So the abortion clinic is taken hostage, and then everybody's kind of connected in some type of way. The guy that takes the abortion clinic hostage is actually, his daughter had an abortion, but not through the abortion clinic. So, and yet he kind of is going in there and wants to take it out on there and shoot up the place. Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to touch that. But it also talks about one of the women who sacrifices her life in the book to save someone else. It talks about a woman who deals with kind of like classism in her own mind. She grew up in poverty, and she's dating like a rich guy, and she's kind of struggling with that because she feels like she doesn't fit in, but then it turns out she's pregnant by the guy. What else? There's so many like rich stories in every single character, which sometimes when you have stories like that, you're like, I can't keep up. Like, who is that? What does she do? But Jodi does a great job of like really explaining every character's story and background so you still feel connected. But what I love most about this book is that no matter what side of the abortion fence that you're on, one, you don't know what Jodi's stance is, because every scenario that she paints, it makes you see the other side's point of view. So if you're looking at it strictly from a religious standpoint, if you're looking at it strictly from just pro-life, like, babies shouldn't be killed, or if you're looking at it from, there are certain situations where, it's not a baby. However you look at it, you will think twice about this when you read this. And that's what I could appreciate, because I feel like it gives you a different point of view, and it really makes you exercise empathy. Again, no matter what you feel about the subject of abortion, and also do your research around abortion and Planned Parenthood and everything else. My eyes were open to a few things because it just made me curious. So I had to dive in a little bit. But it's a great book. And I love how, again, I can't really do a spoiler alert for you because she tells what happens in the very beginning. But as you unfold the story and understand the relationship between a father and a daughter, a relationship between a mom, a relationship to a single woman, and how we need each other. Like, it just talks about so much. I know that was fast, but I wanted to come on here really quick and just tell y'all, I even got my coffee because a sister be reading. Just sweet like I like it. Sweet like me. Anyway, but no. 3 great books that I think you will love. Definitely check it out. And come on and visit me again for some more book reviews. Talk to you next time.